She's only 35 years old.
I have to agree with you. I'm no fan of hers, but she is so good at her job. Right. I really do think so.
Because who's the guy before her? What was the guy?
Spicer.
He sucked. But this chick can make him know what he meant to say. Or what he did. She's better than Kellyanne Conway. And Kellyanne was sweating bullets. But this chick, she doesn't sweat. And those eyelashes. And they tried to clean her up as much as they could.
Well, she does have a perfect smoky eye.
under his smoky eye.
Hey, I'm surprised, though. You know her
Season 2 on Hulu now.
You know her dad's favorite meal is fried squirrel with gravy and biscuits.
Is that true?
With a Coke.
Oh, Jesus.
That's what he said. He said it. He said, hey, and I wonder if she's eating fried squirrel.
Well, she'll be eating crow soon enough.
Yay, yay, yay. I would just like to point out how funny I find it that Trump's thing is about loyalty, and he's demanding loyalty from people who have several ex-wives apiece.
Yeah,
yes.
Well, and including himself. You know, it's one of his quotes this week was that the people who wrote the immigration laws obviously don't love this country.
Oh yeah.
And I say this with the caveat that I have never had a successful relationship last for more than 2 years. I've never been married, but something in me, I don't know, maybe it's that brain, maybe it's just that sense of logic, tells me that if someone who's been married 3 times and has already pretty much been proven to have cheated on his current wife is lecturing you about love, maybe you should take it with a grain of salt. Just saying, you know, it's the guy who has cheated on every wife, who has screwed over pretty much anyone he's ever gotten into business with, asking someone else for loyalty.
Yeah.
Not even asking, demanding loyalty.
And as the great scripture goes, the old woman would say in the church, you know, Judas kissed Jesus. Yeah, and whenever they see someone in the church, girl, don't hug him. Why? You know, Judas kissed Jesus. Yeah. Sold his ass out. Which he did. He kissed him on the cheek and handed him over to the Romans. And that's what happens if you're in Trump, when you're with Trump. Yeah, where's your loyalty? Yeah, okay, here you go. Here's a kiss on the cheek, and hey, here you go.
You bring up a really interesting point, because what's so delicious about all of this and watching his downfall is that the reason why it's going down is because of the people he chose to surround himself with.
Right.
They're all criminals and crooks, and they're all going to turn on each other at the end.
I told a kid at my job, I work at juvenile hall. I don't know if you know that. I deal with juvenile criminals for almost 30 years. And I always tell one kid, actually, that he came in, there was 4 kids that got locked up. And so 3 of them were going home one night, you know. And so the other kid was saying, hey, man, are they leaving? Did you come in with them? Yeah, I did. Yeah, they're going home. Why are they going home? Why am I not going home? Oh, okay. And I just turned to them once the kids left, because they were out there, you know, high-fiving each other, going. I said, there's no loyalty among thieves.
Yeah.
Somebody snitched. And what they do? They dimed him out.
Yeah.
And they went home.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. And he said, do you think they snitched on me? I think they probably did.
Yeah.
There's a phenomenon, and Jess, you mentioned earlier living in New York, so you may be familiar. I mean, everybody may know this. I don't want to be like Trump. Nobody knows this, but there's a phenomenon. Are you familiar with rat kings?
No.
All right, so basically, there's an idea. It's sort of an urban myth, although
does it involve a mouse and a pizza?
Sadly, it does not. There's no pizza, but because there are so many rats and they live in such tight quarters, apparently somehow, like large groups of rats, they get their tails tangled together, and there just kind of becomes this whole knot of rats that is referred to as a rat king, and it's.
The whole thing is a rat king?
Yeah.
It's the image.
It's like,
I just wish I don't have that in my brain now. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, just think of the cabinet, but that's kind of the same thing, which is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's going to be fascinating once it's like Jenga. Once like the wrong brick is pulled out, the whole tower is going to come tumbling down. But the true entertainment value is not going to be watching the tower fall. Honk if you love 9/11. But watching the infighting and watching the rats in the administration scrambling and trying to climb up on top of each other.
So Kelly's out. Is Kelly going to leave?
John Kelly
Kelly, his who's the
he's the chief of staff.
They say he's out.
At this point, we don't know. This week, it was reported that he allegedly called Trump an idiot.
Right.
And at this point, I mean, who hasn't?
Yeah.
That's like minor scandal. He called the president an idiot. Well, no shit. Why was he dialing it down so much? That's the scandal.
Yeah.
Well, to me, the whole tenor of this investigation changed with I'm stating the obvious, but with the raid of Michael Cohen. Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, you know what? I just kind of trumped that, the raid. The raid. How about the execution of search warrants? I was like, he was raided. What is wrong with me? Because that's I know everyone says it, but I'll say it anyway. He knows where the bodies are buried.
Yeah.
And I will defend your original choice of words because as the
Sean
commercials
Hannity
say,
Sean Hannity
raid
says different.
kills roaches dead. So
Hey, Sean Hannity says different. Sean Hannity says I don't know, he might have been my attorney.
yeah, Sean Hannity says a lot of things. I think one of the more interesting things from a Fox News personality this week was Neil Cavuto's final word, or whatever he calls it.
Common sense.
Common sense. There we go. And the clip is available online. We'll post it on the Treasonable Facebook page.
Treasonable.
But Cavuto basically gave that speech that we've all heard from our parents. We're not mad at you. We're just disappointed. Where he was like, I'm not saying the president is a liar, but there are a lot of untruths that really need to be explained. But I'm not saying he's a liar. It was fascinating. That's one of the things.
Bill Maher talk about this or no? Bill Maher?
Yeah. Well, Bill Maher talked about a lot of things.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's been a busy week.
Yeah.
As every week has. And we've got about 20 minutes left in the show, which I think is not nearly enough time to talk about Michelle Wolf and the Correspondents' Dinner. So let's just give it a shot and see how much we can talk about. I mentioned earlier before the show started that I think history will eventually wind up showing us that Michelle Wolf is to Sarah Huckabee Sanders what Hannibal Buress is to Bill Cosby. Mm-hmm. And I think the week started last Saturday night at the Correspondents' Dinner. Michelle Wolf doing a brilliant roast, a brilliant teardown of a lot of people in D.C. But Maggie Haberman of the New York Times decided we should focus on the one comment that wasn't really even an insult. She did say that Sarah Huckabee Sanders has a perfect smoky eye. Doesn't sound like, dissing anyone for their appearance, but what do I know? I'm a cis hetero male. And making a big stink about it. It was basically the Republican, but her eyeshadow. When in fact it was just a joke about the frequency and let's say enthusiasm with which Sarah Huckabee Sanders lies on behalf of the president. And
I think just the fact that you are trying to explain it is ridiculous because anybody who heard that knows that it was not anybody attacking anyone's appearance. I mean, it was all within a certain context. But also,
her eyeshadow.
Well, yeah. And if I may, I'm just jumping in. I also think it's that sort of we liberals, we're easy to it's easy to sort of go for the PC thing and for everybody to say no, I didn't mean it because that's our Achilles heel. Our Achilles heel is that sort of PC honestly, bullshit, because a lot of it is bullshit. And she was roasting. But the fact that so many, Andrea Mitchell, Mika, oh, yes, I was very offended. That's the problem. The problem isn't so much the Republicans jumping on board and saying, oh, my God, she attacked. It's the liberals, backpedaling. I'm sorry. I think that's ridiculous.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's the divisive nature of what happened. It was a divisive tactic, and we fall for it every time.
Well, but and I don't want to say that all the outrage was only because Michelle Wolf is a woman, but you look at the last few years of speakers at the Correspondents' Center. Yeah, Seth Meyers, Stephen Colbert, Larry Wilmore, and they all brutalized the press as part of their roast at the Correspondents' Center, as they are supposed to. And
is she African American?
Who?
Michelle Wolf?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, she's a white.
She looks.
Oh, Michelle
I thought
Wolf.
She was. Yeah, she is, isn't she?
Oh,
isn't she Michelle Wolf? Or no?
No, I don't think she is.
I don't think so.
I don't. She's not.
She looks like a woman of color.
That's the kind of thing that got Rachel Dolezal into trouble.
Yeah,
I
don't think she. No, I think
but
she's from Hershey, Pennsylvania. Not that she couldn't be African American. Sorry, but I don't think she is.
Oh, okay. I was just asking.
The name Wolf would lead me to believe she might be Jewish, but who knows?
Yeah.
Stranger things have happened. But
yes.
A lot of people attacked her, and
she writes for NOAA. She writes this, right? She writes for NOAA.
Yes.
Yeah, she's a writer.
Yeah, she writes for The Daily Show.
Yeah.
She used to work on Seth Meyers' show.
Okay. Pretty well known.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah. I just never seen her face. So
she's got a Netflix special. She's got a Netflix show that's coming up.
Could I just point out that if smoky eye is in fact an insult, Glamour magazine has been insulting me for 3 years.
Yeah.
3 long years.
That's right. Only 3?
Yeah. I don't know. How long has the smoky eye been in favor?
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Good point. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can see Russia from my house.
I think also, I also think the reason why people jumped on the whole Michelle Wolf thing, other than the fact that it's part of their game plan, is that Michelle Wolf delivered these lines. She is an attractive woman who delivered the lines in a completely neutral way. She was smiling. She was saying these incisive things in a way where you were getting a bit of it was tricky, right? Because she was smiling, but she was saying very incisive things. And I think people, they want their women in a certain, either we're shrill and we're like, angry, or we're ditzy. And here she was like kind of playing around with the trope of womanhood, and it friggin' worked, because it was nothing. It was just what she was saying, and it was what she had she didn't even have any specific inflection in what she was saying, which was so genius, right?
Did any of the other movements come out and say anything? The Me Too's or anybody step up to protect or say that they get involved? I mean, because usually that brings up. I thought they were going to try to throw those guys in there.
I hesitate to call comedians a movement, because aside from the fact that it's hard enough to get 4 of us in one room every Saturday, but I think that is the one thing. I saw a lot of comedians on social media standing up for Michelle Wolf.
Now, Kathy, same thing though. Kathy Griffin.
Griffin. No, Griffin. Sorry.
Is it Griffin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She didn't get. I mean, she did the whole severed head thing and got roasted for doing that.
Pilloried.
Yeah. She got what?
Pilloried.
Pilloried.
Yeah.
And she, but now she's, even Kathy is, Kathy was very supportive of her. She said even though they felt that, she felt like they crucified her for what she did, and then she took her apology back from, yeah.
Something interesting about Michelle Wolf and women is that I also found it interesting that the media went after her lines in her speech about Sarah Sanders, but not her attacks on other people. And to me, it really fits nicely into that conservative narrative of protecting women and putting them on a pedestal, which actually is not at all a compliment. It's actually a in a weird way.
They're all
it's a means of
delicate
control.
flowers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then when Rudy went on and said, "Well, we're going to protect Ivanka."